For more videos on people's struggles, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
There is no end in the sight to the turmoil in the Indonesian ruled Papuan provinces even after nearly a month of protest and violent repression. Papuan activists and students are continuing to face detentions, racist attacks and other forms of state violence. At the moment, dozens of activists are under arrest and at least 10 people have been killed. The latest reported incident is of bags of snakes being let loose in Papuan students' dormitory. This included a bags containing 15 to 20 kg heavy python. Even Indonesian activists standing in solidarity with the Papuan coast have not been spared. The number of casualties and the scales of human rights violation could be much greater. However, due to an internet shutdown and restrictions on media in the Papuan regions, exact facts and figures are not known. On 16th August, the eve of the Indonesian Independence Day, 169 people were detained by the police, most of which were activists who had demonstrated for the Papuans' right to self-determination. Widespread demonstrations had been held a day before, on August 15th, to mark the 57th anniversary of the New York Agreement. This agreement, signed in 1962, is what handed over Papuan territories from the Dutch to the United Nations and eventually to the Indonesia. Each year, Papuans commemorate these occasions by calling for a referendum and their right to self-determination. Apart from arrests, the protesters also faced police violence, which left at least 40 people injured. Additionally, Papuan students in Indonesia were also subjected to racially charged abuse, both physical and verbal. In hostels in Java in particular, security forces attacked students' dormitories, arresting dozens. They were also called racist names such as dogs, pigs, monkeys by the police and military, who attacked them along with the members of extremist groups. Protests and demonstrations by Papuans have only intensified after this brutality, turning violent on occasions. Thousands of people have taken into the streets in anti-racism rallies across the Papuan provinces in the days that have followed the Indonesian Independence Day. Protests have also spread to other parts of Indonesia. Solidarity demonstrations have been organized in other parts of the world as well. However, the Indonesian government has only increased its crackdown on Papuans instead of engaging in peaceful dialogue to defuse the situation. The government sent in an extra 6,000 troops to the Papuan regions in response to the protest. This move was widely condemned, with movements stating that extra militarization of the region is not a solution and can only make things worse. The protesters have faced arrest and treason charges for the simple act of raising the Papuan independence flag, the Morning Star. In one such case, Surya Anta, the spokesperson of the Indonesian People's Front for West Papua, became the first Indonesian to be charged with treason for supporting the West Papuans' right to self-determination. According to reports, he is now being kept in an isolated cell where he is being forced to listen to nationalistic songs all the day. The government also shut down internet access and imposed a partial communication lockdown, stating this is to block the spread of fake news. However, this move is being seen as a way to stop the true picture on the ground from coming out and stop additional attention from being focused on the region. Moreover, the international media is also not being allowed to report from the region. The government said it is barring foreign nationals from entering the Papuan provinces, citing possible foreign interferences in the large-scale demonstrations. This again is being seen as a way to block the truth about the real scale of human rights violation in West Papua. Veronica Common, a renowned human rights lawyer, has become the subject of a national-level smear campaign since she has regularly been posting updates and visuals about the repression in West Papua. Last week, East Java Police announced that Veronica is being named as suspect for allegedly violating 4 different laws, including the 2008 Electronic Information and Transactions Law. The police said she had aggressively provoked citizens by giving out information on the ongoing protests and riots. Veronica has been one of the few reliable sources of information on West Papua since the unrest began, which is the threat to the Indonesian government as her tweets have exposed the extent of human rights violation in the region. The Indonesian government is choosing to ignore the state violence that is fueling the unrest and instead blaming the West Papuan independence group for the current situation. Meanwhile, international concerns are rising. United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, has repeatedly called on the Indonesian government to engage in a dialogue with the people of Papua and West Papua on their aspirations and concerns, as well as to restore the internet services and refrain from any excessive use of force. Further, she has said the blanket internet shutdowns are likely to contravene the freedom of expression and limiting communication may exacerbate tensions. Michelle Bachelet also made multiple requests to visit West Papua in order to see the situation on the ground, but her requests have not been accepted yet. Governments of other nations such as New Zealand, Papua New Guinea and other members of the Pacific Islands Forum have also called for an end to the repression for an investigation by the United Nations Human Rights Commission into the reports of human rights violation in the Papuan region. This struggle is a continuation of the movement that began in 1960s after the Dutch handed control of the Papuan provinces to Indonesia following a plebiscite called the Act of Free Choice, held on 2nd August 1969. However, according to multiple historic records, only a few Papuans handpicked by the military were allowed to participate in this plebiscite under the threatening circumstances, forcing them to vote for integration with Indonesia. This vote, flagged as unfair and illegal by most Papuans and various rights groups, further strengthened the struggle for self-determination which is yet to be resolved. The same struggle is continuing today.